Hi everybody, I hope everybody's having a good day wherever they are. Like I say in all my videos, I'm not responsible. If anybody gets hurt, it's just my opinion. Today I'm going to talk about Jennifer Lopez and the trial for P. Diddy and the relationship. I'm going to look into the relationship. He, she was, his girlfriend and he was involved with P. Diddy. So I'm going to look it up and how much she knew of what was going on. Her name is Jennifer Lopez, born July 24th, 1969, nicknamed J-Lo. She was born in 1969. She's 55. And she's been married four times. And she has two children. They're twins. So I'm going to ask right out in the gate, how was their relationship? Jennifer Lopez, I'm doing it through her. How was her relationship with P. Diddy, when they were dating? How was the relationship when they were dating? Was it good? I'm just going by what the cards tell me. Like I said, this is entertainment purposes. Please tell me, how was their relationship when they were dating? Please let me know. Yeah, I got my hair trimmed. It was looking crappy. So yeah, how was the relationship? Use different cards. All right, please tell me. These are... Alright. Please tell me. Oh boy. Wow. These are very... Oh my god. There's sudden change. This is the tower. There was sudden change in the relationship. They had a good relationship, but then it went stormy. And it was in chaos. Oh my god. It was danger. Oh, she knew something was going on behind the scenes in the relationship. Him dating other women or going, having those parties, and she knew about it. So she knew about the parties that were going on at his house. She was invited for a long time. They didn't have, in the beginning, she had these she went to the parties with him. So she knew about the parties, she knew what was going on. She wasn't like she had a blind eye. She knew what was going on. Oh my God. So she knew it was an awakening. She knew what was going on about it. And she really didn't insight. She knew it was disastrous and she didn't know what to do in the relationship. And there were delays, like she didn't know what to do in this relationship. There was a lot of things, people doing drugs, alcohol, doing things that were kind of disgusting. And she was kind of having probably a panic attacks and wondering what was going on in these parties. And she slowed down the relationship because she didn't like him doing this very, having partying, the drinking, being with the women. He didn't like it. He said enough is enough with the drinking and the drugs and the women and the heavy partying and doing weird crap going on. She was tired of it. She said enough is enough. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And she thought he was very immature for his age. This is through her thing. She thinks P. Diddy was very immature, selfish, thought of only himself, and he's very immature. And she was disappointed in this relationship, she thought he was very immature, and he might have been behind the scenes vocal to her, wasn't very nice, maybe verbally abusive, not like mentally abusive, not physically, but mentally abusive. I feel like he was mentally abusive toward her. And they had a block relationship because she wanted things her way, not his way. And she didn't like that. She wanted things her way. It was my way or the highway, and he wasn't into it. They weren't very compromised in the relationship. I think there were delays in the relationship. They didn't compromise very well in the relationship, and she wanted to she wanted to change the relationship, and there was baggage. She knew things in the background weren't good. She knew things behind the curtain wasn't good. There were things that were going to come out. She knew there was things coming, and she wanted to move on. There was baggage. She had things on him. She had things on him. She knew things about him, and she was afraid that things were going to be told. So, yep, she had things on him, and he had things on her. So she was afraid that he would squill on her. He was afraid that she was afraid that he would tell on her eventually, and she didn't want to get involved with it. She had baggage on him, and also they had souls. She thought there was connections in the relationship. When they were dating, she thought, oh, he was like my soulmate. I think she thought he was his soulmate, and thought, oh God, this is a great relationship at the time. So generally they didn't have a good relationship. It was hostile. Maybe it was verbally abusive. I'm gonna look that up. Was it I'm gonna look this up. Was the relationship verbally abusive? Entertainment purposes only. Was it verbally abusive, or did they throw things? Did she throw things? Did he throw things? Were they verbally abusive to each other? He said things that weren't nice. She said things. Was Jennifer Lopez and P. Diddy, the relationship, were they hostile and nasty to each other and said things that weren't nice? Please tell me. Was they hostile to each other, nasty? Did they throw things or say things that weren't nice? Please tell me. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 2 cards, 4. Please tell me. I'm going to do 6 cards. I'm doing these 2. All right. Let me know. All right. In this relationship, she was afraid that if she's involved with P. Diddy, that she would go into debt and lose money, and she thought he was unfair. So she thought he was unfair the way he treated her, flirting with other women. She didn't like that. She didn't think he treated her well, looking at other women, flirting with them, talking to them. She's a very jealous person. And she thought he was selfish and self-centered, and thought he was a narcissistic, call him cattle black. And she thought it was a one-sided relationship. She thought she was the only one doing the work in the relationship and getting it to work. And she was desperate she wanted this relationship to work. There was conflict. Yeah, there was a lot of conflict in their relationship. There was fighting, probably screaming. She wanted to heal herself. She said she was tired of all the fighting. Maybe she thought maybe she needed to go to counseling or something. And it was hostile. So yeah, I think there was a lot of fighting on both sides. It takes 2 mainly. And there was risky behavior. I think she was worried that he was cheating on with other women, and with diseases going on in pregnancy. She was worried about, you don't know, there's risky behavior, also, being abusive. That's risky behavior, sexually or, any other kind of risky behavior. It could be any kind of behavior. You have to be careful because of the day and age. with AIDS and abuse. So, like I said, this is entertainment purposes. So she was just worried about his behavior being risky, maybe getting arrested or something. She was worried that she was gonna, get in trouble with the law. Maybe the law would find out about what's going on in her relationship. Yeah, and she's kind of conservative in some ways, and she's thinks she's a hard worker in this relationship, and she wanted to keep her reputation well because she didn't want people to think negative with her being with P. Diddy. So yeah, and she discarded him, like she did with a lot of men. She said, okay, this is enough. I'm tired of the fighting, the drama. I want to be out of this relationship. And she thought he was lazy in some ways, come on, I don't want to be partying all the time. I want to have a serious relationship. I don't want to be a teenager partying all the time. I think she thought he was lazy in the sense of he wanted to do was party all the time and stuff. And there was missed opportunities in this relationship. Maybe she thought they could do a video together or do stuff together, and there was missed opportunities. Like they could have done something together to make some money. Yeah, this says relationship, love affair. So yeah, she thought a lot of this was a business move. The relationship was a business move. She thinks that he thought it would be a business move because she was popular at the time, or coming into being popular. Oh, something's coming to light in the relationship. Yep. There's going to be an opportunity to find out something's going to happen. So yeah, she was not happy in the end of their relationship. She thought he abused her mentally and made it through things and screamed at her and swore at her. So she was, she thought he was abusive. So yeah. All right, I'm going to look. Did she know what was going on? Obviously, I think she did. She said she knew some things, but I'm going to go into detail. Did she, did she really know what was going on? Or did she say, oh, no, I don't? Did she really know things were going on with him, with all these weird parties? Did she know what was going on? Please let me know. Did she know what was going on in these weird parties with P. Diddy when they were together, in these houses or, hotels? Did she know what was going on as his girlfriend, or did he keep it hidden from her the major stuff? Maybe going to the parties, like 10 o'clock or 11 or 12, but I mean the ones that are like 1 or 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking about the real parties, the after parties, I guess you can call it. Please tell me, did she know anything about the after parties, or did she leave early around 11 or 12 and say, I'm going to bed, I'm going home and going to bed, I have something to do in the morning, late morning? Yeah, she knew what was going on. She felt isolated because something she didn't know, that it was a business in the relationship. She felt withdrawn in the relationship. She felt lonely. She talked to other people in the relationship. She, yeah, in this, and she felt hostile. She felt he was hostile to them in the relationship. So yeah, she knew what was going on, and she felt he was foolish. If you're going to have risky behavior, she thought would eventually get caught. He might get caught, and she thought he was very immature for his age. P. Diddy, she thought, oh God, he's really immature. She thought he was very dishonest to people, said, lied to people, said you have to do this or this could happen. And she felt betrayed being with other women and, and stuff like that. And there was deception, like she said, thinks he did things that were unacceptable. She thought he was very dishonest, and he was getting away with things like, mistreating women and men, and teenagers and whoever shows up. She thought he treated them really horribly, so she didn't like the way he treated some people. She thought people should be treated more better, and she wanted them to have freedom in in the relationship, and she wanted to get out of that situation at the party. She didn't want to be there anymore, so she left. She thought it was a waste. She was there was a lot of chaos in these parties. They did weird stuff, and she did exceed with rewards. Maybe she got money out of it. Maybe she was involved. So she was involved in this. So she's not Miss Saint. And she thought there was more poor planning about keeping people quiet. And she was impatient. Come on, let's go. She didn't want to be involved in some of this stuff, but she knew what was going on. Of course she did. And she was lazy about it. She didn't go and tell anybody. She kept it to herself. And she was impatient, like, come on, P. Diddy, let's do something else. I don't want to do this. So she knew what was going on. And she pretended to be naive, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. She knew what was she'd pretend to be naive, like, oh, no, I don't know what's going, like, and she was acting like childlike, oh, like she didn't know what was going on, like acting like a kid about it. And she was cheerful, and she was confident about the parties, thinking, oh, she's having a great time, there's nothing wrong with doing this. She knew what was going on, and she accepted a lot of it. Some of it she didn't, but a lot of it she did. So okay, I'm going to think, this is thing, will she get in trouble for what she did in those parties too? Will she get in trouble too, like P. Diddy? Will she spend any time in jail, or will she get off, or will she get a slap on the wrist, or will she have to pay a fine? She get it, it says she got involved. She knew about it, and she was involved with a lot of this stuff. Some of it she agreed with, some of it she didn't. So, that's what the cards say. Please tell me, is she going to spend any time in jail, or is she going to pay a fine, or whatever? Please tell me. Like I said, entertainment purposes. I'm going to do 4 cards, and then I'll do another card. These are the horoscopes sign cards. Please tell me, is she going to spend any time in jail, or is she just going to have a slap in the wrist, or just say, don't you be involved with me, Daddy? Maybe she'll get a payoff, like, have an arrangement with the defense and get a, what's it called, when they say, oh, we'll give you a pardon if you testify against P. Diddy, maybe they'll do that. There's going to be actions. There's going to be swift. The judge isn't going to take her. Doesn't care if she's a celebrity or not. They're not going to put up with this. She's going to have a rude awakening. She won't know what's going to hit because people are going to testify that she knew about it, and it might be her reckoning. She might have in trouble. So she might be exiting. She feels bad about what happened because she got caught, and she's going to try to heal from his abuse. He was abusive to her, so she tried to heal herself in the past. And she's going to move forward. Whatever the judge says, she has to move forward. She's stubborn, though. She's not going to, let it, in public. She probably might cry some, but she's going to be a tough person. And she's going to be, she's obsessed with money. I think the judge thinks she only did this for money. And, yeah. And she thinks she was stubborn and cold to the people who were there and didn't do anything. The judge is thinking, this is the judge. judge, I'm thinking. Yeah, the judge says, you're a real cold person, letting P. Diddy do these things to these people. Only you care about money and stuff. Money and stuff. And you didn't do it. And it was chaos. He thinks you knew what was going on and you didn't say anything, and there was chaos. There were people who did a leak against her and told her that she was around there at the parties, and there's going to be judgment about that. There's going to be tough judgment, and there was missed opportunities of getting her before this. People wanted to whistle blow on Jennifer Lopez, but they didn't do it because they were afraid, because of T. Diddy, and they dated. So I think they were afraid, and there was missed opportunities about them because they were afraid of P. Diddy and what he could do because of his threats, and he was dating Jennifer Lopez. She has a real reality check she's going to have to do in this, what's going to happen if she's going to have to spend time. It says she's going to, it doesn't really say if she's going to go to jail. It just says the judge isn't going to take any crap and say something to her. I'll try one more time. Is she going to spend any time in jail, Jennifer Lopez, or pay a fine or something? I'll just say, is she going to spend any time in jail for what she did, like P. Diddy, because she was part of that circle, the inner circle? I'm going to do 3 cards, and then I'm going to do this animal one. Please tell me, is she going to be Jennifer Lopez spend any time in jail, or is she going to get off, or a slap in the wrist? Is she going to go to jail? She might spend some time in maybe a house arrest or something, in jail or something. There's going to be action. The judge is going to do action, and he's going to say, you're going to spend some time in it, and she's going to have to live with it and spend time reflecting on what she did. And the judge says you're going to have to reflect on what you did, who you mistreated there too. This is through the judge point of view. So she's gonna have to exit. Her career is pretty much not very good, and she's gonna try to heal. I'll look that up. She's very stubborn. The judge thought, like I said, and was only interested in money and power, not helping other people. She thought the judge thinks she was thinking of only herself and making her own dreams come true. So I'm going to look up and think, is the trial going to destroy her career? Please tell me, is her career pretty much over now that she went to, P. Diddy and was forced into going on trial, testifying? I think she had a court order or something like that. Is she going to have her career destroyed because of the trial? The people not want to see her, listen to her music videos, or, I'm going to just do 4 cards. We'll just do it sugar and sweet. All right. It says there's going to be chaos on her. People aren't going to trust her and don't like her as is. But people are going to really judge her. They don't like her, what she did. And she had missed opportunities of speaking up on her own behalf of what happened in those homes and houses and the hotels. So people are going to be, they're unclear on how they think about her. They thought she's weak and didn't want to, rock the boat with him. And they also think she's destructive, like she doesn't care about anybody but herself. And Diddy at the time, she didn't care about anybody else. There was lack of delays. Like, she didn't care about helping other people and, speaking up to them. She didn't care. She's foolhardy. She doesn't care about other people during, which is terrible. She didn't care about, the survivors or anything. She was caring about herself. She's very selfish. She's careless. She doesn't care about anybody but herself. Yeah, like I said, I think she's going to get very depressed because having the people not like her anymore. And lack of directions, of who's going to happen. And there's going to be few opportunities, so she's not going to make any more money. And she's fear of the unknown. She's not sure if she's going to end up in prison. She doesn't know, or is she going to lose, maybe she'll lose her custody of her twins or whatever. So I'll look that up. And there's going to be sudden change in her life, so she's hoping people will forgive her. Oops, sorry. Yeah. And she feels negative because people are talking smack about her. The paparazzi, the people, the news people on television, people on YouTube. And, everyday people are going to talk bad about her. So she's just negative, and she's going to accept some of it because... All right, this is the last one. It didn't really say if she's going to go in prison, so there's nothing I can do. Is she going to lose custody of her children because of what's going on? Is her kids going to live with her father full-time, Mark Anthony? Is he going to take custody of her kids because of what's going on? Entertainment purposes only. Is Mark Anthony going to take custody of her kids because she was involved Diddy in this trial and he thinks she's unfit? So this is entertainment. So please tell me, is Mark Anthony going to take custody of the twins, and is Jennifer going to lose custody of her kids? Please tell me. 4 cards. It says lack of directions. She doesn't know if there's going to be conflict. I think people will say that the kids shouldn't be around her. So some people are going to say the kids shouldn't be around her because of she's a bad influence. And they believe that she's not a good person, And she's going to be on a spiritual path saying, oh, I found religion and stuff. So she's going to say, oh, she found religion and how people shouldn't, and she's going to form new ideas like, oh, maybe she'll have joint custody with Mark Anthony, so she won't lose full custody. She might have half custody, She might, dark side of wealth. Yeah, so her money is gonna be tarnished. She's not gonna make any more money, and and the lack of resources. The kids are probably go to private school and she can't afford that anymore. Maybe she'll have to take them out. She'll have to change. She'll have to move out of her houses. She'll have to sell them. She won't have maids or anything. She's gonna have to live like, she won't be totally broke, but she won't be rich either. She's used to. She's gonna drink a lot. She's gonna smoke a lot. She's gonna drink. She's gonna overindulge with drinking after this trial because she is gonna be depressed. So she's gonna be drinking a lot, doing things that she normally doesn't, and she's gonna try to fix her alcohol drinking and stuff. She's gonna try to not be so much into drinking and stuff and health. She's gonna try to help herself from not being drinking and stuff, because a lot of people would do that because of being through P. Diddy. They turn to alcohol or drugs or something. She's gonna not do that. Has new ideas. Maybe like I said, she'll have joint custody with her children, and she acknowledges that what she did was wrong in some ways, and she'll communicate. She's restless with the communication. So it doesn't say that she's going to lose custody of her children, but it says that full custody, but she'll have partly custody. I'll try 2 more cards. Is she gonna? Is he? Or one more time. Is her kid's gonna end up living with her ex-husband? I'll ask 3 cards and then that's it for today. If it's Mark Anthony, I'll ask on his side. Is he gonna end up having take the kids because of the trial and her this is bad publicity for her? Is Mark? Yes, he's going to try to take some partly custody. Yeah, he thinks this is unfair what she did. Exposing her kids to this. They might be young at this age, but she thinks this. He thinks this is one-sided. He thinks this is very self-centered. That he thinks she wasn't thinking of the kids when this happened. This has happened long before she was married to him, but she still thinks this is tarnishing her image and the relationship with her kids and so he's desperate. He wants to have custody of these kids. And he thought, it would be a good move. He would look like a good father figure to his kids, and he'll get some money out of her, like, for raising the kids. He'll get money out of this, and also he thinks he's, people might judge him, but they understand that she was a bad influence on the kids and they're going to be supportive. They'll say he deserves the custody of their twins. So yeah, he's gonna get some of the custody. I think full custody might go to him because of what she did. So like I said, this is entertainment purposes. So into my next video on tarot readings or other subjects. Have a good day. Bye.